Hi, students. Very good morning to you. Hope you all are doing well at your homes. As you know, it is a critical situation now, but we will overcome it definitely. So, here I am today with your English chapter, the first chapter of class 10. Anyway, welcome all of you to class 10. This is the first time you are going to appear for the board exam. Don't be afraid of anything. We will rock it. Okay, this is our first chapter, A Letter to God by G.L. Fuentes. So, have you heard of G.L. Fuentes? No, don't worry. He's a Mexican novelist, poet, and a journalist. I think you have heard of the country Mexico. Yeah, it's a North American country. Have you heard of the football team? Yes, Mexican football team. You have heard, no? So, he also hails from Mexico. He is a Mexican writer, and this is a short story about um, person called Lenjo about the faith in God. Before going to the story, let me ask you something. Why the author is important? Why we are studying authors along with the chapters? It is important, right? As you know, you will be having question answers from the chapter. There are chances that you will be get 1 mark questions, that is objective questions, like authors also. You will be given the chapter name and authors might be asked. Okay, so take care of it. Why we are studying authors is my question. Sorry. Why? Because every author has a social background, the place or the culture he lives in. All these introduce his writings also. Not only writers, every people of art, especially painters, writers, poets, social workers. See, the background they live from, they hail from, always influence them, directly or indirectly. It may be directly or indirectly seen in their writings or work or art. So here we have a Mexican novelist and poet and as well as a journalist, author of the chapter. What are these things? Do you know? Yeah, the first one is a postcard. Have you seen it? May not be. Leave it. Second one is an inland. Some of you might have. Okay. Then the next one is a money order. Have you seen that? You may have seen that, but you never have sent money order through that, right? Now it is a 21st century. We have different means of communication. We have online methods, and we never depend for these money orders, right? Yes, but earlier people used these type of letters or postal services to communicate to people of different places. Earlier banks were not so common like this, and it was back at that time, during earlier time in olden age, if you ask your parents or grandparents, they might have known it. They might have used these means rather than going to bank or rather than these online techniques. So ask your parents, if you ask your grandparents, they might have know it better. Ask them and try to complete it, try to fill up it. Okay, nowadays you don't want to fill up these things, but it is good that we should know our some little of our history. No, you don't you are not curious about to know something what happened in the ancient, why, how the money was like that. Now we are using rupees. You know, earlier there was a demonetization, that we know the earlier currencies. So you have any interest in collecting that? What is known as the collection of money? What is known as the collection of stamps? Anyone? Okay, the collection of stamps is philately. What is the collection of money or coins? Find it out. Okay, next we will go to the chapter, A Letter to God. Who is writing the letter to God? Do you write letters to God? Maybe not. When you were small, or when you're kids, or even if you when you grow up also, some people like to write letters. We used to write diaries, right? Why we are writing diaries? To share our experience, to share our moments of grief or sad or happiness, whatever it is, to share our emotions. We need, we want someone to share everything, right? So here Let us find out what Lenjo, the protagonist of the chapter, is going to share to God. Okay, the story, before going to the story, A Letter to God, it revolves around the idea of having unquestionable belief in something. Here, definitely to God. He has a staunch faith in God. Lenjo here is the protagonist of the chapter. Protagonist means the major character, main character, seeking help from the Almighty. And finally, what we arrive at is he is questioning the honesty and modesty of the people, especially the postmaster here. Okay, let's see the chapter. I will read the main parts of it. It will be better if you keep the textbook or the PDF form with you. The house, the only one in the entire valley, sat on the crest of a low hill. From this height, one could see the river and the field of ripe corn dotted with the flowers that always promised a good harvest. The only thing the earth needed was a downpour or at least a shower. Throughout the morning, Lenjo, who knew his fields intimately, had done nothing else but see the sky towards the northeast. Now we are really going to get the water, woman. The woman who was preparing supper replied, Yes, God willing. The older boys were working in the field, while the smaller ones were playing near the house until the woman called to them all, Come for dinner. It was during the meal that, just as Lenjo has predicted, big drops of rain began to fall. In the northeast, huge mountains of clouds could be seen approaching. The air was fresh and sweet. The man went out for no other reason than to have the pleasure of feeling the rain on his body. And when he returned, he exclaimed, These aren't raindrops falling from the sky. They are new coins. The big drops are tens and pieces, and the little ones are fives. So here we are seeing the happy Lenjo, right? Yeah, he's a farmer and he is waiting for the downpour, a slight rain to his fields of corn. So his corns are ripe, ready to harvest, and he is waiting little for a rain. A rain is needed to wash away, right? Yeah, and he is very happy. The air is fresh and what fresh and sweet. You like to wash yourselves in the rain? Yeah, many of us like. Yeah, it is fun to have in the rain, right? Yes. Have you heard of Charlie Chaplin's famous quote? No. He he had said once, even though we know Charlie Chaplin as a funny actress who make us laugh a lot, his life was little not funny or not happy like that. He has some setbacks in his personal and life also, that maybe because of that he had caught it once. I like to watch, like to sorry, I like to walk in the rain because no one will see my tears. Yeah, you can hide every emotions when you are in the rain. For Chaplin, it was his famous lines. If you want to know more about Charlie Chaplin, go into his story. Okay, have you seen his films? Yeah, it makes us laugh a lot, right? But sometimes he had said, but he is still remembered as a famous actor, right? He acted not without what dialogues or without words or dialogues. He just like been a veteran by his acting. Okay, come back. Here we have seen our Lenjo is very happy of what the fresh air and the rain. With a satisfied expression, he regarded the field of ripe corn with flowers draped in the curtain of rain. When the rain was falling, he said it was not raindrops, it was pesos, it was coins, or it was money. Why? Because he wanted to mention it because about the crop. Because this crop is ready to harvest and it will give him money. Yeah, that is his living. You have to earn a living from farm. So what happened suddenly? So the rain had changed. It 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 began a strong wind came to blow and a very large hailstone began to fall, and it truly resembled new silver coins. The boys They were running to collect the frozen pearls. Frozen pearls were the hailstone. It was this crystal, solid ice. The rain, it also fall as hailstones, no? So it is really getting bad now. So what happened? I hope it passes quickly. It was hailstone is coming. That it was awful or painful when it fall on your body. It is like more like a stone. So he's praying that it will. Oh my God, let it pass quickly. But doesn't it doesn't pass? It did not pass quickly. For an hour, the hail rained on the house, the garden, the hillside, the cornfield. Okay, and now for an hour, now the field was like covered with salt. It is not salt, it was hailstones, ice cubes, like ice cubes. Not a leaf remained in the trees. What happened? The hailstone has destroyed the farm completely. The flowers were gone from the plants. Like just flowers means it's see the lines. The flowers were gone from the plants. Flowers. Blooms are always gives us happiness. Now what happened? As the hailstone, the crop was destroyed. The happiness was gone from his mind. Right. So what happened? He was filled with sadness because all his crop has been taken away by the rain. A plague of locusts would have left more than this. He's telling a plague of locust. You know what is locust? Locust is a locust. They are insects which destroy the crops normally. And what is a plague? It is also known as Black Death. I think you have heard of plague, right? Yes, it's a pandemic that caused many deaths in early centuries. So he is telling a plague of locusts would have left more than this hailstone. They had nothing to what? Now no crops are left, nothing to have for their earning this year. This year we have no corn. That night was sorrowful. The family whole were worried and in dismay because of the hailstone. What happened? The rain has suddenly turned to hailstone and the crop was destroyed. Do you understand the first part? Okay. Now we will go to the second part. But in the hearts of all who lived in that solitary house in the middle of the valley, there was a single help from God, hope. That four letters can make many changes. Hope. Okay, now as we know, we are facing a pandemic. If we don't have hope, if we don't have faith, if we don't we believe in, before you believe in God, believe in yourself that whatever we shall overcome, we shall overcome it someday. Every day you are like, some days you hear this voice now every day. So we shall overcome whatever difficulties, whatever hindrance, whatever problems we are facing, definitely one day. So they also had hope. Hope it help, God will help them. Don't be so upset. Even though this seems like a total loss, remember, no one dies of hunger. That's what they say. No one dies of hunger. That maybe it is Lanju's wife who is reassuring him with hope and faith. All through the night, Lanju thought only of one hope, help from God, whose eyes, as Ibam instructed, see everything, even what is deep in one's conscience. As you know, you have it instructed, right? You are being set by your parents or your teachers or whomever that God will be watching us. Right? From our childhood, we have heard it, right? God will be watching us. He know what you think even, right? So here also believe. Conscious is our innocence. What is our inner feelings? Lenjo was an ox of a man. What do you mean by ox of a man? Underline it. He was an ox of a man. Ox means bull, right? He is a hard worker. It is another term. You can add it in your vocabulary. It is another term for a hard working farmer. He was ox of a man. Ox works in the farm very hard. Like that, this man also is working like an ox. Working like an animal in the fields, but still he knew how to write. So he knew to write. So what he planned now? He planned to write a letter to God. The next day, next the following Sunday, what he did? He went to post office, he write a letter to God. What he did it? If you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. I need 100 pesos in order to sow my field again and live until the crop comes. Because the hailstone has destroyed my crops. Yeah, he had written a letter to God asking him to give him 100 pesos. He has no one else, he may not have anyone else to ask for. Or he believe in God rather than anyone else. He had utmost faith in God. He asked to God for 100 pesos. Why he's asking 100 pesos only? Because he need that money to start or sow his farm again and leave until the crop grows. So he is an innocent and a truth honest man who is asking enough money for him to survive until he crop the next until he harvests the next crops. Okay. So he write the letter to God and wrote to God in the envelope and put in the mailbox. One of the employees who was a postman and also held at the post office went to his post laughing heartily and showed him the letter to God. So for the it was funny that somebody is writing a letter to God. Never in his career a postman has known this address, right? He don't know the address in his career because nobody has written where he will give this. Okay. The postmaster, but it was a fat, amiable means friendly man. What he did, he also broke out laughing. But almost immediately he turned serious. But this letter made him think. Think about what? The belief, the faith, the amount of faith the man had in God. What faith? He exclaimed. I wish I had the faith of a man who wrote this letter. Starting up a correspondence with God. Correspondence is communication, right? Correspondent written communication. That kind of faith he had, right? He was exclaimed, wanted. So, in order to keep the writer's faith in God, so he don't want to shake away this faith in mind of the writer, the Lenjo. So, what he did, he began to think what he can do. He finally had a resolution. He asked his post office employees, his friends, and he himself had put some money and collected an amount. For whom? To the farmer. Because he has written honestly because he need this much money to lead his life until his crop has grown. So what he did, he had the postmaster had wrote a letter or collected the money and put it in the letter and signed as God. Why? Because this man should believe that the God has sent his letter and the postmaster never want to shake off his faith in God, never want to give away his faith in God. So, you understand? What was it? Okay, thinking that man's faith in God is so much, the postmaster collected some money from his fellow people, and give to post. No, give to Lenjo. He posted a letter in the name of God. So charity begins at home. Have you heard of it? Yes. Means charity is the mind that you have to help anyone. It is not in money or in matter. It should be in by your deeds also. You can help your friend, an unknown person, by doing anything, right? If your friend is not in good state or not feeling happy, you can go and make them happy by your deeds, right? That helping mentality should be within you. It is not that you could help only when you are rich. No, only when you are rich in your mind. You have to be rich in your mind, not in matters. It is not material wealth that make a person rich. Their mind should be rich. Okay, I hope all should be rich in your mind, right? Yeah. Shall we move to the third last portion? So what happened? Little money was there. The following Sunday, Elanjo came a bit earlier than usual to ask if there was a letter for him. See how much, how faith, how he trusts God. He definitely believed there will be a letter for me, and he had given God 1 week. It was the postman himself who handed the letter because it is money, na? The postman no. And while the postmaster, experiencing the contentment of a man who has performed a good deed, looked on from his office. The postmaster is happy because he had some way helped the man. Lenjo showed not the slightest surprise on seeing the money. Such was his confidence, see? But he came angry when he counted the money. God could not have made mistake, nor could he have denied Lenjo what he ever requested. Sorry, what happened? Immediately, Lenjo went up to the window to ask for a paper and ink. On the public writing table, he started to write, with much wrinkling on his brow. What happened? Wrinkling? Why you wrinkle here, bro? When you're in angry? To show off your emotions, right? Yeah, here. When he finished, he has to written a letter. And he, by a stamp, he licked a fist to the envelope and blow with of his fist. What do you mean by like blow? When you blow your fist, right, strongly, or when you are in angry, when you are anxious, right? The moment the letter fell into the mailbox, the postmaster went to open it because he is thinking that it might be a Thanksgiving letter. It said, but God, of the money that I asked for, only 70 pesos reached me. Send me the rest, since I need it very much. But don't send it to me through the mail because the post office employees are a bunch of crooks. Lancho. What happened? Yeah, it was only 70 pesos. It was not 100 pesos. And what happened? Lenjo believed that the 100 pesos he asked to God and somebody has taken away. Somebody means here, maybe the employees have taken away the remaining 30 pesos. The God should not make any mistakes. See how it is not that he is not what cruel person. He don't know. He had utmost faith in God. It is his innocence or naive quality that tells that his belief in God made him, yeah, not believe that the people have done it. So it is not his fault. He is such a poor or he's such a innocent man, isn't it? So did you write like the story? It's a good story. It have a lot of message in it. um so it is a simple story. I think we will read it again, go through it again, and here are few words you might find it difficult. Downpour means rain. Locust, I have said peso. Pesos I haven't mentioned. So okay, na pesos is like coins, currency. Peso in India it is rupee. It is in another country, especially it may be a Mexican story. So it is in peso. In normally in Latin American or North American countries, it is known as peso. And crooks here means crooked people, like not straightforward people. Here it just means dishonest people, bunch of crooks, a group of dishonest people. So this is a picture of locust. Locust, I said no, it is beetle like insects which destroy the crops of farmers. It is common in every places. Here you have some questions. Read the chapter thoroughly and try to answer it. Answer the questions. Try to answer it. It might not be perfect, but you can do it. Okay, it is simple story. If you understand the story, if you have understood the story, it is very easy to write it. Okay, try to write it in your notebook. I will give you instruction how to start your notebook also. Try to write these questions. And one more assignment I am giving you to write the character sketch of whom? Lenjo and the postmaster. When you read the story, how do you feel about these two people? How do you write the character sketch? You put the nature or the character of these personalities. Okay. In this chapter also, there are some oral comprehension questions. You can write that also. Try to write all the questions in your notebook. Before that, Your notebook should be neat and tidy because your notebook reflects your character. So it should be neat and tidy. It should have a proper index, and leave first 2 pages for the sample. As a PowerPoint presentation, I have sent you earlier your subject code, your portions, and everything. We will write a sample question pattern in the first 2 pages. Then we will start for the chapter, A Letter to God. First of all, you write difficult words, vocabulary. If you find any other word difficult, message me in my WhatsApp, personal WhatsApp number. I will reply you. You can write it down, whichever words you find it difficult. Then we can go for questions. But you have to make sure that whatever you are writing, it should be neat and clear, legible. Okay? Yeah. Then we have finished the chapter, this lesson. Now we can go to the grammar part, but not now, in the next class. Okay, we will discuss the exercises in the chapter in the next class, along with whatever doubts you have. Whatever doubts you have, if it is smaller, it is a simple meaning, or to the question answers, whatever you have, just write it and send to me in WhatsApp. We will discuss it in the next class. Okay. Okay, stay safe, stay home. Goodbye. Thank you.